timing is everything. I was not ready to be with a label at 22. I'd have been eaten alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't have any confidence. So I would have been eaten alive. Might have got a bad contract, which I was smart enough to avoid some bad publishing deals that came in my plate because I said something's not right. My intuition was always there, but I didn't know what intuition was back then. I didn't know what self-awareness was like that. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the right time to do what I needed to do, and neither was it for podcasting. So I do agree with that. Timing is everything.
Everything. So out of the 4 books you published, which one was the most challenging?
I would say the first one. I was so young and green, and I was 20 years old, and I was working at the airport. I was going through a lot, because I couldn't finish my first college of Untold Atlanta because if you look up Untold Atlanta, they money grabbers, they took advantage of me, and I was depressed. So I remember one day I was at work and I saw this real attractive lady at the airport, and I thought, I bet she had the perfect life. She got the nice look, she got a nice body, she's just perfect. And I said to myself, I just thought about a story around her. I don't know, it just came to me. And at the time, I was reading Eric Jerome Dickey a lot. Eric Jerome Dickey, I started getting into him, rest in peace. And I started just following his vibe. And so I started creating this story around this woman and what her life could have been like. And mind you, I didn't know how to edit. I was just writing. I was an editor. And I didn't know you needed to have an editor. I didn't know. I knew it, but I didn't know it. And I was young, and I thought that because I could understand the book,
Yeah. you know why I laugh at that, Shay? I laugh because I wrote a book in 2015, right? And I started writing it in 2000. It was just amazing I was able to keep these notes and notebooks for that long. But I laugh because there was a guy that took my manuscript, the guy that actually published it, and he said, you're definitely not a writer, because I was writing like I talk. That's how I just thought it was. I was writing like I talk. And so not knowing all the new, the different angles that you gotta have and how you, that was father's, and I put it like this. I got a couple more things that I'm working on now, and I would still do it the same way. And I would pay somebody, because that's just how, that's my feelings, and that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's
all we needed to do was pay somebody. At the time, I wasn't making much. I was making $5.25 an hour. I was 20 years old. So I didn't make enough to, find a proper editor. And so at the time, the best thing about the book was the picture, because I was able to get 2 attractive models to get on the cover. And that was the coolest thing about the book. But I didn't think the book was going to blow up when I put it on Amazon. I didn't think people was going to be able to find it. I had no money to market it. I was just like, I got to put out something before in my mind, I'm like, before I die, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And so I put it out, and also the story was motivational. And I was like, dang, I got all these bad reviews about the editing. And I said, huh? It's like, what's going on? So how did you find this book? So I'm sitting here like, okay, what's going on? So I felt really bad. I got really sad because I said, dang, I thought this was going to be a book to change someone's life. And so at that point, I took the book down for a long time. And then fast forward now, when I got into tech, I was able to pay a big boy. Found a big boy editor. He rewrote the book. The book's back out there. But if anybody knows about Amazon, anytime your book never goes down. So anytime you put a book on Amazon, even if you want to take it down, it's never going to go down. So everybody's always going to see that old book. And if you're using the same pictures, they're always going to subconsciously tie it back to the old comments, and so that's the hard part. But after that, the other books went well because I got an editor. The children's book, Sammy Bean, had no problems.
Okay.
All 5 stars because I used the same editor, he's a talented editor, John Riddle, by the way. He's a beast. He's been a full-time author and editor for decades, But he fixed that. He did my children's book. And he's going to be editing my new book coming out soon. That is a compilation of short stories book that's going to be coming out. So he's going to be editing that. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, that was my challenge. Was the first book. That was my challenge.
Now, with books, And this is something I just found out not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. Now, did you know that with your podcast, the shows that you do, and the interviews that you do, you can take all that and turn that into a book?
I never thought about that.
I'm just giving you one to grow on with that one. So, because it just came to my attention, you know, I listened to a guy, he was talking, I said, you know what? That's very interesting. He said, like, say like me and you doing an interview today.
Yeah.
That's one or two chapters in itself. We had 37 minutes right now. You know, so you can break it down into interviews and call, you know, the book of a podcast interviews and sell it as an ebook. And so it's so many ways that you can make money around podcasting, you know, but if you don't know it, then you don't know, you know, so that's the thing. And so that's something that I put in my pocket that I'm going to look into sometime next year. I got a lot of things going on right now, but that's something, that's just one I'm going to give you for free. So
it's amazing, man. I mean,
yeah.
I like that because I always thought to myself, I feel like I'm on a journey when I'm doing these interviews. I feel like I'm on a journey of some sort. Like, it almost don't feel real when I'm interviewing people. It just feels like a journey, I don't know. It is. I definitely can see this book.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Think about it like this. Say somebody didn't listen to this interview on Apple or Spotify or wherever your hosting site, Pandora, whatever. They didn't hear the interview. But then now you put out this book that has that interview included. Now they may not have heard it on the podcast, but now they can read it in the book.
You know what? That's true, because I was blogging my episodes using AI, but I was like, well, why? I guess blogging them, I mean, I can do a book then if I'm blogging them, because I just put 2 blogs on my website, blueartistpodcast.com, and I said, that would be cool if I could just copy and put the book there. That's neat. I like that.
But even
stories are interesting.
Even the blogging, you know, I mean, everything is an outlet, because you never know. Okay, let's just say TDJ or somebody, a famous pastor, right? And they give a excellent message, and so everybody didn't hear that message. So Shay come on her show and she says some of the things that may have been quoted throughout the for the sermon, and so some people that didn't hear them say it, they heard you say it. That's just how life is.
That's true. That's interesting. Because people have different ways of finding stuff too. So
all the time. So
some people are readers. Some people are just man.
I mean, like me. I wrote a book, as we talked about. I wrote a book, do a podcast, and neither one of them am I really, can I say, avid. I'm not an avid reader. I read the Bible, but just as far as what you was talking about, Jerome Dickey, I got 3-4 of his books upstairs in my bookshelf.
You got his books too?
Oh yeah, on my bookshelf. But I'm not an avid reader like that. I'm more of I can listen to some things, or I'm more of a visual person. So like you say, everybody got their own lane. Okay, it's just like Facebook, right? Facebook are Facebook people. And so we can promote a lot of stuff on Facebook as far as our material, our podcast shows and this and that. But Facebook are Facebook people. They not really coming on Facebook to...
I realized that, like, I almost wanted to get off.
Hey!
I wanted to get off because I really don't like Facebook. I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted to just get off of it. I was thinking about it numerous times because I said I like Google ads anyway. So if I run it, because the only reason why I stayed on Facebook because I want to run ads. But then I said I can just do Google ads and just move away from Facebook because I just don't like the energy. And I'm just too deep for Facebook to me. I'm just too deep.
And I do it. We'll talk about that offline. Okay, but because I don't want to alienate nobody. So what inspired you to cover all the bases in the entertainment industry?
All the bases. I don't. It just kind of fell in my lap. Like I said, the book I wrote. I saw a lady. I got inspired. I was already reading Eric Jerome Dickey. I was starting reading Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, and I started reading Omar Tyree, and it was just kind of like I was just getting entranced by it. Like it just came to me, so I just started writing and stuff, and it was a way it's like an outlet. And then, but music, the first time I got into music, I was like 12 years old. Like that started when I was super young, because that was my way to feel like I could do something. I wasn't good in school or anything like that, and I thought, if I'm just good at music, then I'm somebody, I have something to say, or I got something going on. And music was like that outlet. And I started singing at the YMCA. I went to YMCA Live to sing gospel songs. And I started getting into the Isley Brothers. I started singing Kelly Price. And I noticed the bullies stopped bothering me, because the bullies just like to hear me sing. When I start singing, the bullies shut up.
I love Kelly Price.
I'm just going to keep singing. And I memorized rap songs. I just memorized rap music. That was my thing. I did poetry. I went to Performing Arts High School. So I went to Woodside School of Performing Arts. I spent my teenage years in Virginia. So I went there, and it just came to me. And then music came to me. And then the entrepreneurship bug didn't come until I was like 23, 24. And at that point, it was just, just random sales. I was just selling stuff at different events. I wasn't really a business owner, like LLC type, until I got older, till like 28. That's when I started getting into the whole LLC thing and started really taking it seriously and getting things done. But yeah, my first real business was a coffee. I owned a coffee line, but then that subsided because some things didn't work out with the coffee line. But that was my first real business, and I was going to make an LLC and everything, because I loved coffee. I loved coffee, and I said, this will be great. I can sell coffee, and it was going to be my brand, because I was working with a farmer from Africa that lived in the U.S. And it was called Sequoia's Coffee. But it didn't work out, because his wife thought that I was trying to talk to him, or his ex-wife thought I wanted him, and I didn't. So I don't know. But he was like 75. I was like, what? Because at the time, I had just got off the boat. I was singing on Carnival Cruise Lines. So I was 24 at that time, and I was singing for Carnival Cruise Lines, and I was doing their game show nights too. And so when I realized the boat life wasn't for me, I was like, I can't be on this boat, because it was claustrophobic. The entertainers were at the bottom of the boat, and I was just feeling like just felt tight. And I still was dealing with my shyness, but I was getting over it, because I wanted to feel like I was doing entertainment full time. But that wasn't the right way to do it. And then they didn't want me to wear my hair the way I wanted. I was only black entertainer there on that side. And they didn't want me to wear braids or nothing. At the time, I didn't have locks back then, but I had braids. That they told me I wasn't allowed to do that. And then also I just felt like the boat life wasn't for me. So I got off the boat. And then that's when I met the coffee shop owner that owned the coffee. And I said, oh, what is a better time to start a coffee brand? I just put out my album Limitless. I just got off the boat. And that's when I got into that. And people was buying the coffee. I would go to gas station and say, hey, can I sign up? Can I stand here and talk about my coffee? And they let me stand there and talk about my coffee. I would make sales. But it just wasn't the right time. And that's when we go back to timing. It wasn't not the right time, and I was with the wrong people. And the coffee was amazing, though, and it was a big business. There was not a lot of black female coffee owners at the time. There was probably not any. Now there is. But back then, there was none when I was 25. And so it was like that thing. And then that's when I got the bug. I said, I can do this. And that's when, fast forward to when I got in tech, that's when I was able to start really digging my feet into that and getting to the entrepreneur side and selling things. And it was just one of those things where it just came to me. And it just came to me. I'm not explaining it, but that's how it was in the music, the podcast. All of it just came to me. And when this podcast came to me the second time during the pandemic, or right before the pandemic in LA, I was just trying to talk about my experience in LA, because people make it seem like you go to LA and you're gonna be famous. Yeah. That's not how it works. You need money and you need time. You can't have money and no time, and you can't have time and no money. You need both, especially if you're black. You can't go out there and say, I'm just going to just do whatever. No, you got to have your pictures updated. I'm talking about all the time. There's times they want different type of pictures. These pictures ain't cheap. And you got LA rent that's $1,700 a month if you stand in the studio. So you have all these things going on. And I had to go there and learn things. And then I had to learn you don't need an agent. I had to learn a whole bunch of crap. And that's, I'm going on a tangent, my bad. But
No,
I was trying to help somebody.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started the podcast. And I started telling people, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I'm seeing. And da-da-da. And, you started learning the game. You started learning. Because I was supposed to be there with my ex. But like we didn't work out because I didn't ask him the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's we had to go our separate ways. And I ended up being there by myself. And I just didn't want to go back home because I wanted to experience how it is to be on my own, far away from the fam for a bit. How is it to be, can I do this? And I proved people, I was there for 4 or 5 years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was there for a hot minute. And I shocked myself because I never, I didn't know how far tech was going to take me at the time. I just graduated from a tech program. I didn't know how far it was going to take me, but it held me down, and I was able to do what I had to do. But you had to choose between your tech job or going to audition. A lot of times, all these auditions, especially you're not making enough money. You got to think about California taxes. They're taking half of your check, and you've seen Taraji P. Henson talking about it. I mean, she's big. I'm a little fry, but if you make $1,000 for one day, you're not getting $1,000 back, buddy.
Yeah.
And if you have an agent, you got to pay her too. If you got to get your hair done, you got to pay that person. All these things you have to pay for. So you're not getting that money back. So you have to keep your day job, and I didn't want to suffer. Like some people want to suffer and get there. I wanted to thrive to get there. I want to be able to eat a nice piece of steak. I want to be able to eat some shrimp. I didn't want to struggle to get there. And that's one thing I just didn't want to do.
I'm glad. I'm glad you didn't have to struggle because it seemed like, I'm just listening to you and all the different things and the different avenues that you took to get to where you are. God had you covered the whole time.
Yeah,
that's just what I'm hearing.
I was shocked.
Hey,
I mean, and there's synchronicity because God, when you ask God stuff, and I don't think God answers everything, but God had some stuff for me. And when I asked for some stuff, I got the answer. When you ask for something, I swear everything works to conspire to help you see it.
It say knock, and the door shall open. Ask and you shall receive. So yes. I mean, the closed mouths don't get fed. But you had a purpose in life, and so he's always going to protect that purpose, especially when you moving forward. Now, there's a lot of times when we stay stationary in life, we don't have the forward progress. And so therefore we thinking things not being done. Well, the thing is, or God's not doing that. Well, the thing is, you're not doing nothing.
There we go. You can't, faith without works is dead. You can't just sit there and be like, Lord, come get me the job, but I'm not going to lie.
As the old saying go, money just don't fall off trees.
No, it don't.
It don't. I wish it did, because I would be under one. So,
man, I'd be sipping tea somewhere.
Ain't it? So, being a voiceover artist, what is that process like?
We'll be right back.
Don't miss out on CJ Moneyway's book, Both Eyes Open and Both Eyes Shut. And get ready to pre-order his upcoming release, The Issues of Life, coming soon. Moneyway, aiming to inspire.
So for that, it's a lot of auditions, of course. It's just like acting. And you can do different voices. So for instance, you might do, somebody might want their book recorded. So you might just record for their book, do some characters and stuff like that. You got cartoon, which is what I really want to do. I'm trying to get into it more heavy, but cartoons, commercials, stuff like that. That's voiceover, and that's what I'm into. And I just audition all the time, and I just hope to get something. And it's competitive, but you just don't give up. You just keep going. And I still do my own, I'll do my own skits so I can have stuff ready. I didn't put it on my website yet, but I am going to put it on the website so people can see my skits and stuff. But yeah, I can change my voice. I like doing cartoons the most. It's the most fun.
So have you been in any animated cartoon movies or films or anything?
Not yet, just my film, Chloe versus Yaya, but it wasn't voiceover. It was me. I wrote and directed it. Wrote it and produced it, and I had someone help me direct it, which is on my YouTube, Chloe versus Yaya, my short film I did in LA. So I did that one. And voiceover, I haven't gotten a role in that yet, but I'm working on it. And I'm trying to do, of course, my cartoons. So that's what I prefer to do.
Cartoons?
Stuff is cool, but cartoons are more fun.
Okay, so like the animation, cartoon, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So just a sidebar question. This just for me. So as far as your voiceover, like you say, you do for books. So your voiceover, what are your prices? Depending.
Well, my prices, it depends on what I got to do. So, like if it's a big book and I'm in the whole book, then yeah, it could be like $500 because I'm just trying to be fair. I don't have an agent no more. I had an agent, but I realized I don't need an agent because I'm able to get my own auditions. Yeah. But I think people need an agent if they do not know how to find something. Okay. They don't know how to find stuff, but I know how to find stuff. So, yeah, it could just $500 will be fine. And if it's a really big book, then yeah, it could be $1,000.
Okay.
And if it's a major film and I'm doing like an animation or something like that, then yeah, it needs to be like way more, like $5,000 or something.
Oh, let's see. Boy.
Yeah, I mean, especially if I got a big role. Now, if it's just a small role, then
Hey, you where the money at? So Vegas been good to you. So, so what inspired? Since you're talking about the film, so what inspired you to do this short film about mental health?
Well, Chloe versus Yaya, I was inspired because I was watching this movie. I was watching this movie called, what was it called? Not Split. So the movie Split, the guy that played in Wanted, he was like the main character. And I admired his work. I said, this guy's talented, man. Just the way he just transitioned from different personalities. And, his personality, he had mental health issues, but he was able to, he had some schizophrenia to the core, but he was like 8 different people. And I said, this guy changed his whole mannerisms, his whole vibe. This is interesting. And I feel like, to me, I'm a Black artist that wants to type into sci-fi, thriller, horror. I don't really want to do typical stuff. So I got so inspired, so I got to do Chloe versus Yaya. And so it was expensive just trying to do that little film. It was so expensive. And I said, oh, man. But I did it anyway. It was very short, but I was able to tap into just this character of, Yaya. Like Chloe is a successful lawyer. She feels like she has it all, but she doesn't even know she's schizo. She doesn't know she has issues. She doesn't know when she changes into Yaya. And when she changes into Yaya, she's a totally different person. The swagger, the energy changes. And she doesn't know what she's doing wrong. She's sassy. She's not as nice. She's not as, everything changes about her. And so I just thought that was cool because some people like to make it seem like everything's made. They got the perfect life. And everything's not always perfect. And I think that this is what I'm trying to do is show people that there's stuff going on out here with people that you don't even know about. And also that maybe you might have the issue and you don't know. So it's just bringing that awareness. And I've had people reach out to me and saying, thanks for doing this. My daughter has this and that. And I showed her this helps and da-da-da. So I really felt like it was like I was called to do that. But that's the type of movies I want to do is sci-fi, thriller, horror. Because, and Chloe versus Yaya is not done. It's just that it takes time to do films. You got the major actors trying to get help with films. And I don't want some rinky-dink film. I want it to be quality.
So I asked you that question. That was a good question with something that I saw because I will talk to you later about it or at another time because I'm dealing with my wife's cousin right now in Iowa. And last year they did an event, a mental health event. And so this year they're doing another event for Juneteenth, but it's still surrounded around mental health. And they have, artists coming on, some girl she was on the Voice and things. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be interviewing them May 5th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sunday. So I have more information. And so I just thought about that to the point where the things that we do, like me meeting you and me, like we can do things together, or people that have the same interests or the same that's on the same thing. Like mental health, that's not my lane. That's not something that I do, but I am dealing with people that is their lane, and that's things that they're big on and something that they make their mission. And so we'll see what they come up with that, because they do the same thing. They do filming, and they do films and try to make movies out of certain things, this and that. But we'll talk about that at a later date. I think that'd be good for something for you guys.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So my last question: how did you overcome?
Just like you were saying, earlier, just about people not seeing your vision, and maybe that's just God's vision that was given to you. I didn't know that until later on, man. It took me years, and it took me till I was like 28, 29 to realize that this is just my lane, this is my vision with these things I'm doing. And if somebody doesn't agree with it or like it, it doesn't mean that it's over. It means that person doesn't like it. And I can still do this. And I had to, it was like self-awareness. It was like looking into myself and finding out who the heck I was and what I wanted and what life meant to me. And I was able to say, you know what, I'm going to die alone, and I don't have nothing I'm paying my own bills. They don't have nothing to do with me. And at the end of the day, if you don't like it, turn it off. And that's what I feel like. And even if it's your friends or family, they're not supposed to understand everything you're doing. They don't want to like your stuff or look at your stuff and click on it and share it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do this forever, from the womb to the tomb. Because this is something that I was called to do. And when I got to that state, it came fruitful. Everything became much more fun. Like, I don't have to worry about who's liking this or what's going on. I mean, you just like, man, I'm just putting it out there. It is what it is, and if it blows up, cool. And if it doesn't, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't promote certain things, because yes, you do need to invest. But if it's people that's close to you that don't understand, it's okay, because there's strangers that will. There's strangers that will. And that's how I overcame it.
And that's so true, because I feel you. It's like we brothers and sisters from another planet. Cause I feel you, because I just talked to this young lady. She owns a publishing company right here in Gary, and I was talking to her, and that it was the last day of the Women's Month in March. I forgot what it was, something about Women's Month or whatever. So she had an event, and she was talking to the Queen of Ghana. She was on a conference call with the Queen of Ghana.
Oh wow.
And and so one thing that she was telling me, she said that if people don't invest, she said 3 things people can do. She said they can invest their time, their energy, or their money with you. She say, if they don't invest either one of these 3, then they're not supporting you. You know what I'm saying? So they're not really supporting you if they can't give you time, because everybody got time.
Oh yeah.
Your energy, like if you're talking to somebody and you're talking about your movie, your film, your short film. But they really not that. But every time you try to say something about that, they want to talk about some nonsense or some things that don't really matter about nothing. So they not giving you their energy, and they definitely not gonna give you their money. So
heck no. Heck no. My folks be like, "Do you got a job?" That's how my
hey, and
folks are.
and it's crazy, because the people whom you think will support you the most be the ones that be standing on the sidelines the most. And so I say that to say this, what the lady told me, and something that you said. She said that a lot of times people that surrounding you, people that you know, family, friends, whoever it is, she say what God may have for you may not be local. It may be global.
Yeah.
So I have more people. I'm from, like I said, the Midwest. I have more followers listening to me in New York and California and Florida than I do in my own city. And it is what it is. You know.
I feel the same way. People listening from all over the place. I'm like, oh well, this is who's is resonated with, and that's fine with me.
Because at the end of the day, Because I did something not too long ago. At the end of the day, because I had the same mentality that you have to build your, because I'm not that type of person. I do want people to care, because I want to care about what other people doing, because it don't cost anything to support, right?
It don't.
And so sometimes I can't understand why some of the people that I know, I hang out with, whatever, this and that you can't fully support. So I had to get over that. And like you said, it made me feel better about myself when you get over that. Like, you know what? I don't care if my mama don't like it. I don't care if my wife don't like it. I don't care. I'm going to do me, because a lot of times I think people feel as though because they're not supporting you and they're not rocking with you, or that things that you're doing don't make sense to them, then it ain't doing nothing. But as you and I know, through analytics and through the dashboards and the things that we see, I see numbers. I see numbers.
When I saw the numbers, I said, I better keep talking. Then there's people looking and watching.
Yeah.
And I said, every time I run ads, and I took an ad class, I think it was 2022, I saw even more numbers. I was like, oh, the people just need to find me, because that's what, labels did. That's what labels do for artists. They have the money for what? Ads. If you have your own money for ads and you know how to do it, you can do the same thing for anything you're trying to do. Podcasting, music, just anything. You can do it. And that's what I figured that out.
All right. I'm gonna end it on this. So is there anything else you would like to say for the people?
I just want to say thanks for having me on here. And I really appreciate it. I'm sorry if I went off on a tangent, but I had a good time on here.
It's all good. It's all good. So
somebody got something from me.
Hey, so my people out there, go out there. If you haven't heard anything else today, go out there and get the dating game, Dating Assassins. I'm gonna go grab mine. You go grab yours. You have been listening to the CJ Moneyway Show with your boys CJ and Shay Blue. Hey, hold on one.
Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next. Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next.